How's it going, duelists? It's Gleaming Garmor, and today I'm here with a deck profile, but not a Vanguard deck profile. You see, now that I'm vaccinated and whatnot, I've been going to locals again, but I've been going to locals on Yu-Gi-Oh! Day, so I've been playing a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! And as you can see by this first card here, I've been taking a Pendulum deck, but not just any Pendulum deck. Trust me, this deck gets wild. I'm calling it Metronome, due to the fact that it is not just any Pendulum deck, it's a Pendulum deck featuring Time Thieves. It's a Pendulum deck focused heavily on making rank 4s and other powerful Xyz cards. So why don't we just break down the cards that we have. First of all, we're starting with 3 copies of Dark Worm and 1 Supreme King Gate 0. Dark Worm is a very powerful card to pitch off a Pendulum Call, but it also has a Pendulum effect that if you control no monsters, you can activate Gate 0 from your deck in the other scale. And I don't know about you, but as good as Pen Call Dark Worm is, Dark Worm Activate Gate 0 is even better. It's just a 1-card scale, and that's kind of insane. Then we move on to our Pendulum Magician engine, where we are playing 3 copies of Harmonizing Magician, who is a Scale 8 Level 4 tuner monster. The fact that she's a tuner never comes up, actually. We're not playing any synchros. But she, on Pendulum Summon, can summon any Magician Pendulum from the deck in defense, and you can only Xyz summon with her if you're using another Pendulum Magician, so keep that in mind. Then we're playing 2 Black Fang Magician. Black Fang is also a Scale 8. In the scale, it can have its attack it can have a monster's attack to destroy itself, and then when it's destroyed, you can summon a Dark Spellcaster from your graveyard. That comes up a few times on like turn 2 and turn 3 plays. Then we're playing 2 copies of the recently semi-limited Double Iris Magician, who, first of all, is a Scale 8, is another Magician name, and if it's past the first turn, you can make a Dark Spellcaster you control deal double battle damage. So for example, if you're going second, you can play this down, pop it, search your Time Pendulum graph, and then try to out your opponent's board. But then here's probably the best Magician card we're playing after Harmonizing. 3 copies of Purple Poison Magician. If a Dark Spellcaster battles an opponent's monster, you can make it gain 1200 attack, destroy this card, and if this card's destroyed, you get to target a card in the field and destroy it. And then the last 2 Pendulum cards in our deck are Performapal Skullcrabat Joker, recently released from the ban list. Appreciate my disgustingly misprinted Skullcrabat. And then Performapal Pendulum Sorcerer, who we are playing at 1 copy as a low scale that we can search with Duelist Alliance. The only target we have for Pendulum Sorcerer's monster effect is Skullcrabat Joker, but that's okay. Then we move on to the Time Thief engine, where we play 3 copies of Time Thief Regulator. This card is bonkers. Regulator, if you control no other monsters, you can tribute this card to summon 2 Time Thieves from your deck in defense position, I believe. Yeah, you summon 2 Time Thieves with different names from your deck in defense position. And your 2 summon targets are usually going to be one of your 3 copies of Time Thief Winder and your Time Thief Adjuster. Adjuster can either summon herself from the hand if you summon a Time Thief, or can it summon herself from graveyard as well? No, just hand. Or if this card is summoned, you can send a Time Thief card from your deck to the graveyard, which will usually be Time Thief Bezel Ship. And Bezel Ship in the graveyard can detach 1 from any Xyz monster to special summon itself. Time Thief Winder in the hand can detach 1 to special summon itself, and if it's special summoned, you search a Time Thief card, which will be the one of the Time Thief trap cards we'll get into later, Time Thief Retrograde. And then we are playing, we're also playing a small Phantom Knight Raidraptor engine in this deck. First of all, we're playing 1 copy of Silent Boots to send off of Rusty Bardiche, and Bardiche sends this card, and then we search another Phantom Knight spell or trap card by banishing it from our graveyard. And then we're playing 1 copy of Raider's Wing. Raider's Wing, much like Bezel Ship and Winder, can detach 1 material from a Dark Xyz monster to special summon itself. And if it's attached to a Dark Xyz's material, that monster cannot be targeted by card effects. And then here's a ratio that I would switch. I would rather play 2 Raider's Wing and then 1 of this next card, but I only own the 1 Raider's Wing, so I'm rocking with this instead. 2 copies of Raidraptor Strangulanius. Strangulanius can special summon itself if you control a dark monster, but if you do that, you are locked into dark monsters for the turn. And out of all the crazy cards we're playing in this deck, this is the only card in the entire deck that Xenolocks you. The only one. Everything else is fair game. And if you control an Xyz monster that has a Dark Xyz attached as material, you can special summon 1 Raidraptor from your graveyard. And then the most versatile Raidraptor that we can search is just Raidraptor Singing Lanius, who can special summon itself as long as you control an Xyz monster. And then of course we're playing 1 more bird in the main deck, which is Zephyros the Elite. It's a summon target for Raidraptor Wise Strix, and when it's in your graveyard, you can return a card to the hand, or a card you control to the hand, and then summon this card from the graveyard and take 400 damage. Onto our spells, we're playing 3 copies of Duelist Alliance. If there's a card in your Pendulum Zone, you can search a Pendulum monster or a spell or trap card with Pendulum in its name. Search targets include our 2 copies of Pendulum Call. Discard a card, search 2 Pendulum Magicians with different names, and for the rest of that turn and your opponent's turn, cards in your Pendulum Zones with Magician in their name cannot be destroyed by card effects. You can't activate this card if you used a Magician Pendulum effect this turn. And then we're playing 2 Rank Up Magic cards. Soul Shave Force, which I don't know who approved this card. Soul Shave Force lets you, as long as you have a Raidraptor Xyz in the graveyard, pay half, special summon that Raidraptor Xyz, and then go into any Xyz monster 2 ranks higher. That's not a Raidraptor Xyz 2 ranks higher. That's any monster. And then there's the Rank Up Magic, the Phantom Knight's Rank Up Magic Force. You can target a Dark Xyz you control, banish dark monsters from your graveyard, and then go into a Raidraptor, Xyz Dragon, or Phantom Knight Xyz. That is the targeted monster's rank plus the number of dark monsters you banished. And then we're playing the 1 Called by the Grave to try and protect our combos. And then onto the 4 trap cards we're playing in the main deck. One is Time Thief Retrograde, which we already talked about. Retrograde says if you control a Time Thief Xyz, you can negate the activation of a spell or trap card and then attach that card to the Time Thief Xyz's material. And then we're playing 1 Time Thief Flyback. This card is not very much used for its regular trap card effect. Usually we're using Time Thief Perpetua to attach it to our Time Thief Redoer or Time Thief Double Barrel. And it says in the graveyard you can banish this card to attach 1 card from your opponent's graveyard as material. So it's like it hits cards like Eldritch and like any Ben 10 or Drytron card the same way that a DD Crow would, but it also attaches it to your Xyz monster. And then we've got 1 copy of Phantom Knight's Fogblade to set with our Rusty Bardiche. Fogblade is like a fiendish chain. It stops the monster from attacking and negates its effects. The only catch is that it also cannot be attacked. And then the last card in the main deck is Time Pendulum Graph. This card came out years ago, and it's still so insane to me that this card exists. Essentially, you flip it up, and once per turn, you can target 1 Magician Pendulum card and then 1 other card on the field and destroy both of them. And if both of the cards aren't destroyed, you send 1 card in the field to the graveyard instead. Onto the extra deck, which is very important. We'll start with our Raidraptors, who are Raidraptor Force Strix at 2 copies. Force Strix is a rank 4 that has you detach 1 to search a dark level 4 winged beast. And then we use the Force Strix plus the Singing Lanius we search off of the first Force Strix to make Raidraptor Wise Strix. When Wise Strix is summoned, you summon a level 4 dark winged beast from your deck, who will always be Zephyros the Elite, pretty much always. And if a Raidraptor Xyz activates its effect, you set a rank up magic directly from your deck. And if that rank up magic is a quick play spell, you can activate it that turn. And then, onto our Time Thieves, we've got 1 Perpetua, 1 Redoer, and 1 Double Barrel. I'll break them all down for you. Redoer, on the standby phase, attaches the top card of your opponent's deck as material. And during either player's turn, you can detach up to 3 materials from this card, a monster, a spell, and a trap, and you perform 1 effect based on each card detached. If you detach a monster, you banish Redoer until the end phase. If you detach a spell, you draw 1 card. And if you detach a trap, you can target 1 card. Does this target? No, you just place 1 face-up card your opponent controls on top of their deck. And then Time Thief Double Barrel has a similar effect, but this time it's whenever your opponent activates a monster effect, you can detach up to 3 cards. If you detach a monster, if you detach a monster, this monster gains 400 attack. If you detach a spell, you take control of 1 monster your opponent controls until the end phase, but it can't attack or activate its effects. And if you detach a trap, you can negate the effects of 1 effect monster on the field. Perpetua, during the standby phase, can detach 1 to summon a Time Thief Xyz monster from the graveyard. You can summon Redoer and then use Redoer's standby effect to attach a material from the top of the opponent's deck. And once per turn during either player's turn, you can target 1 other Xyz monster you control, and then attach any Time Thief card from your deck as material. Then our other package of extra deck monsters is Bardiche and the 2 best Xyz dragons money could buy. We're not playing Arc Rebellion in this deck because it's a going second card rather than anything we can use to establish a board, so we'd rather be using Dark Requiem. But Rusty Bardiche takes 2+ dark monsters and can't be used as sleep material. You send a Phantom Knights card, or you send the Phantom Knights card from your deck to the graveyard to set a Phantom Knight spell or trap card, which will be Fogblade. And if you summon a Dark Xyz at this monster's link point, you can destroy a card in the field. Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon, its effect is mostly irrelevant, but like sometimes going second, you'll make this card and you'll do something with it, or like trying to kill your opponent on the follow-up turn. You detach 2 to have an opponent's monster's attack, and then add that attack to Dark Rebellion. But what really matters is that you can use it to rank up into Dark Requiem Xyz Dragon. And Dark Requiem says if it has Dark Rebellion as material, it gains 2 effects. If it doesn't have Dark Rebellion, it's essentially just a 3k beater. But you can, once per turn, detach 1, target a monster on the field, reduce its attack to 0, and then gain its attack. Or, if a monster effect is activated, you can detach 1, negate the effect, destroy that monster, special summon a Dark Xyz from the graveyard. That's a lot of things to do for detach 1. Like, you can get back a Redoer, a Perpetua. You can use that Perpetua to attach another material to Dark Requiem. Dark Requiem's negate effect isn't even once per turn, so if you put Perpetua back down there, you can get another negate. Next up, our target for Rank Up Magic Soulshave Force is Cyber Dragon Infinity. And then we are playing the F-Zero package, Utopic Future plus Utopic Draco Future. Utopic Future is actually a pretty decent card. You can attack into things, not deal neither player battle damage, and then take control of the thing you attacked into. I actually played against heroes at locals recently, and I dismantled a hero board by taking their Sunrise, because Sunrise only gets to pop something if an attack is declared involving another hero, and then it also rips away an attack boost from that hero board. And Utopic Draco Future, you can summon by ranking up on top of Utopic Future. I should explain how you summon Utopic Future. You overlay 2 Xyz monsters with the same rank, but they cannot be number monsters. So, for example, if I have Perpetua and Redoer, I can overlay them in Utopic Future. But Draco Future can be summoned by ranking up on top of Utopic Future. And if your opponent activates a monster effect, you can detach 1, negate that effect, and if that monster is on the field, you take control of that monster. Next up, we've got Evil Storm Nightmare. 2 dark monsters is the materials. If your opponent special summons a monster, you can detach 1 to set that monster face down. Then we've got IP Masquerena for the purposes of making Mech Knight Crusadia Avramax. And Avramax is essentially a lightning rod, draws things away from my other monsters. But if I make it using IP Masquerena, it can't be destroyed by my opponent's card effects, and IP lets me make it during my opponent's turn. And that's essentially all the cards in the deck. Let's move on to combos, why don't we? Just shuffling up the deck, and I'm going to show you a test hand after I believe I've Ripple Shuffled enough. Now, this deck can play through hand traps, but it cannot play through Nibiru unless you have a very particular set of circumstances. You need to get really lucky to play through Nibiru. You need like Regulator and then your Pendulum Scales to play through Nibiru. But like an Ash or a Veiler, you can play through those just fine. Okay, so this is kind of an interesting hand. We drew Skullcrabat Joker, Pendulum Scales, Singing Lanius, and a Rank Up Magic. That's not the best hand we could have drawn. So we'll summon Skullcrabat Joker, and then Skullcrabat will search Harmonizing Magician because we need more materials on board. We need as many materials on board as possible. And then you set the scale with your Purple Poison and your Double Iris, and Pendulum Summon Harmonizing. Harmonizing's effect summons Black Fang for diversity. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what magician you summon off of Harmonizing most of the time. If you have a particular thing that you think you want engraved for Black Fang, if you think Black Fang will come up in the match, then you can send like Double Iris, Purple Poison, whatever. But basically, the first thing you do is you overlay into Force Strix. Use Force Strix's effect. You would search Singing Lanius here, but since I already have it, I will search Raider's Wing instead. Special summon Singing Lanius, and then you use your 2 Winged Beasts to link summon. You use your 2 Dark Winged Beasts, excuse me, to link summon Raidraptor Y-Strix. Oh, let me move over so that you can see. But yeah, you set the scale. You summon Y-Strix. Y-Strix's effect summons Zephyros the Elite, as soon as I find it. And this is very important. You need one more essentially Xyz material on the board to carry out the combo. You just need to make a rank 4 plus 1 more level 4 monster. At this point, we overlay them into the second Force Strix effect, detaching Zephyros the Elite. Chainlink 2, we activate Y-Strix to set Rank Up Magic Soul Shave Force. And our other search target will be Strangle Lanius. See, the reason why I couldn't just cut Strangle Lanius to 1 is because I needed to make sure that we always had a Force Strix search target. At this point, you activate Soul Shave Force. If they haven't nibbed you yet, then they've already messed up because you can Soul Shave Force into infinity. And like, I genuinely wouldn't negate any hand trap other than nib on infinity if you knew they could have more than one. You detach to special summon Raider's Wing. And then link summon. Summon Bardiche. Bardiche effect. You send Silent Boots. To set Fogblade. Now that's already 2 points of interaction right there. But we can go deeper. So we have used our normal summon in this particular matchup, but we still have Zephyros' effect, returning Double Iris to summon Zephyros. Overlay. And here you can make, say, Dark Rebellion, because we have our rank up magic. Then, since you control a dark monster, you can special summon Strangle Lanius. Since you have a Dark Xyz attached as material, you can special summon Singing Lanius. And then, you make 1 more rank 4. And that can be, say, Evil Swarm Nightmare, that can be Redoer, that can be Perpetua. It's all preference. Honestly, I would prefer to make Perpetua here, specifically because you can go Perpetual Effect, attach, Time Thief Flyback, and then you've got the Infinity Negate, and then you can use Flyback as a DD Crow. And of course, you set your Soul Shape, or you set your rank up Magic Force, and then on the opponent's turn, you flip it, you banish a Dark, and then you make Dark Requiem, and you destroy a card on their board. And you also use Perpetual Effect to attach Bezel Ship to Dark Requiem. So there you go. We've created a board with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points of interaction. And on top of all that, you also get to summon the 4 Strix back that you can later use to make a Utopic Future if necessary. This deck is so much fun, and I've been playing it for weeks, and I've enjoyed pretty much all of it. I have worked so hard to fine-tune this, and I am so happy to share it with everybody. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave a like, please, and consider buying me a coffee. The link is in the description. I have literally never actually plugged my coffee in a video, and that would explain why I haven't gotten any yet. Anyway, that's enough out of me. I'll see you guys some other time.